Alright, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lian Duan. I have been a developer for over 20 years. I focus on DevOps and security in the cloud. Today I'll demo how to create multi-project pipelines in GitLab CI/CD. The video written Markdown file and the projects are in my GitLab. The links are below. After you finish the video, you can analyze, design, and implement multi-project pipelines in a real-world project. Let's start. Topic is, what is multi-project pipelines? How to design multi-project pipelines? How to create multi-project pipelines? How to control downstream in pipeline? How to pass variables from upstream pipeline to downstream pipeline? And hands-on demo. First topic, what is multi-project pipelines? A pipeline in one project can trigger downstream pipelines in other projects called multi-project pipelines. The user triggering the upstream pipeline must be able to start a pipeline in downstream project. Otherwise, the downstream pipeline fails to start. After we know the multi-project pipelines concept, we move to next topic, how to design multi-project pipelines. The requirement is build common jar files, build and deploy React UI project Docker image, build and deploy demo Spring Boot project Docker image to a staged environment. To reach the requirement, I created release microservices as multi-project pipelines to handle the process. Also called release microservices project is upstream pipeline. In my demo, I know all things and detail. Usually the first step, we have to meet with the developer team to get common jars and projects detail. Second step, based on the developer team input, we know the common jars Z1 and common jars Z2 depend on common jars Y. The common jars Y is need common jar X to build. All jars are used by Docker Spring Boot demo project. Third step, depending on the relationship, design multi-project pipelines is in release microservice project. The screenshot for multi-project pipelines, you'll see the pipeline has 5 stages. Stage 1, build a common jar X. Stage 2, build a common jar Y because it depends on common jar X. Stage 3 has 2 jobs, build a common jar Z1 and a common jar Z2, since the jars do not depend on each other. In the build stage, call existing Docker Spring Boot demo project and React UI project pipeline files to build Docker images. Stage 5 is deploying Docker images to staging environment. You may have a question, why there are 2 stages for? One is before stage 5, other one is after stage 5. I'll share the detail in following slide. Next topic is how to create multi-project pipelines. First, create downstream pipelines. I will reuse existing Docker Spring Boot demo project and React UI project. The 2 projects, functions detail is on video, monitoring React app, Spring Boot app, and Redis with permissions. React UI project build detail is on video, build Docker images in GitLab CI pipeline. Spring Boot demo project use 2-stage Docker build. The detail is on video, how to reduce Docker image size. The videos link are in below. If you're interested in the background and detail, please go through the videos. Next, create upstream pipeline. Upstream pipeline is same as regular project pipeline. Upstream pipeline uses a trigger to call a downstream project. There is an example. The screenshot is from stage 4. The trigger has 3 elements in my demo. First element, project. The project is downstream project URL. The value is lian.duan.training/Docker Spring Boot demo. Item branch is specified downstream project branch. I use feature-docker Spring Boot demo-v1 branch in my demo. It's simple, right? Strategy dependent is used to control multi-project pipeline studies. The detail is on next slide. How to control downstream pipeline. Use strategy to force the upstream job to wait for downstream pipeline to complete before it is marked as success. If there is no strategy on the trigger, the upstream job marks itself success without waiting downstream pipeline is complete. Strategy element makes your pipeline execution linear rather than parallel. In my case, I want to deploy two microservice Docker images together, so the trigger strategy depend have to use. You say the UI build is paused because downstream pipeline React UI still running. After all downstream pipelines are complete, deploy stage can start. This is the behavior we want. The downstream icons locations are after the latest upstream job, so there are two stages for around deploy stage. To easily maintain stage environment, we want to keep the two Docker images have same tag. How to do it? I'll show how to pass variables from upstream pipeline to downstream pipeline. In upstream pipeline, pass the variables which have the same name as downstream variable. In upstream pipeline, pass the Docker image tag value. There are two variables defined in the pipeline level. And then we pass the backend API build Docker image version to build the Docker image version in backend API build job. Pass the Docker image tag value to downstream job in stage 4. The value will override the Docker image tag value in downstream job. The value name build the Docker image version should be same as downstream variable name. Move to downstream pipeline. There is no change in the downstream pipeline. All the override done by upstream pipeline. Build the Docker image version is v3. The value will be override from upstream pipeline. Build the Docker image version is used by Docker build command. To save our time, in my demo, the jar files job just print the message. I'll create another video to demo how to build a jar, push the jar to GitLab artifacts, and use the jar in the Spring Boot demo project. We know all key points. Next topic is hands-on demo. In my hands-on demo, I'll trigger multi-project pipelines and check the build Docker image in Docker Hub. By the way, for your exercise, you have to register a GitLab account with free plan. The 3 projects are used in my demo: React UI project, Docker Spring Boot demo project, and the Release Microservices project. When you do the exercise, please clone and switch to below branch in the project. Let me start my demo. Open my .gitlab-c.yaml file. Is in Release Microservice project. Add comments for demo. For demo, commit synchronize. Switch to the GitLab UI to check the CI/CD process. Go to the menu, click Projects, and then view all projects. Go to Release Microservices project. Select the rocket icon, and then select Pipelines. It's running. Open the running blue button to check the detail. Let me zoom in the page to see more content. In build stage, 2 jobs are paused because downstream projects are running. This is expected behavior. Backend API build is completed. We're waiting for UI build to complete, and then we'll see the deploy stage is running. All the tasks are completed. Next, log in Docker Hub to check the result. Sign in. Open the React App project to check the build result. Tags, image, v9, and the latest are upgraded. Go to the Spring Boot demo project, check again. Open the Spring Boot demo project to check the result. Also, v9 and the latest image are updated. All topics are completed. Today we learned how to analyze, design, and create multi-project pipelines in GitLab CI/CD. Thank you and see you in the next video.